Hello, I am Deborah Simpier, CEO and co-founder of Althea, and this is Bridges versus Interoperability. And I want to thank y'all for staying this long to listen to my talk. I know it's been a long day of amazing speakers, and I'm very honored to be here and also to share with you what we have been building and why. So we've been busy building Peggy, and Althea Peggy is a bridge between Ethereum and Cosmos-based blockchains. That is a non-custodial bridge between the two, and a module that can be run on any Cosmos chain. So this allows folks to save gas while still taking advantage of all the great Ethereum UX and tools. And it can even be used, Cosmos chains can even use IBC to interact with Peggy Cosmos chains and then to Ethereum. I know this talk is called Bridges versus Interoperability, but we may want to think about it as Bridges plus Interoperability. As you could see, this could give a chain that is not Peggy enabled an opportunity to utilize a Peggy enabled chain via IBC and then onto Ethereum. And that can also be a way for folks to run the Peggy Cosmos module and earn some revenue from that as well. So this Peggy bridge, the Althea version of this bridge was designed by my co-founders, Justin Kilpatrick and Jahan Chumbak, which did an amazing job designing and implementing this. And I'm hoping that through this talk, I'll be able to give a bit of a higher level overview of the mechanics of it, some of the reasoning behind the design, and enough information that y'all can go to the Cosmos GitHub repo or to one of our public Peggy stand-ups and ask and get the deeper knowledge that you might need. All right, let's get into the basics. So from ETH to Cosmos, so if you want to send...
charging my AirPods.
So if you want to send transactions from Ethereum to Cosmos, you're going to... Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes, let's have you do that right now. Are you using Google Slides, Keynote, or PowerPoint?
So
what you should do...
From ETH to Cosmos, the user is going to send some Ethereum to the Peggy.Sol contract. Tokens are then locked up in that Peggy.Sol contract, and then the equivalent tokens are minted on the Cosmos chain. Users then send these tokens on Cosmos to the Peggy modular. So if you want to go from the other way, from Cosmos to ETH, you're going to send the tokens to the Cosmos Peggy module with a fee. And then that module is going to create a batch of transactions. And then from that batch of transactions, the validators who are the e-signers will verify that transaction. So the batching is really kind of the interesting part and where we get into a lot of the gas savings of this particular design, which I think are really quite exciting. And we'll get into that a bit later. And one other thing we want to sort of talk about in this design is that this is non-custodial, so you don't have a group of trusted administrators, but you do have to trust the chain in which is running the Peggy module. So you wouldn't want a situation where the ETH or the DAI in the bridge was greater than the worth of the chain that's running the Peggy module. That would give your 2/3 validators an incentive to collude and to take the money out of the bridge. All right, so let's watch it in action. This is a quick video from our Peggy broken net, which we called our kind of first test net. The nomenclature was it was going to be a broken net because it's sort of the first iteration and more of a collaborative effort than a polished test net. And this was the end of October, and what you're going to see here is actual Ethereum going to Cosmos. So let's watch that real quick.
Hey, I see some Oracle.
Yeah, me too.
Sure. That's pretty cool. That must be it.
Okay, so I just successfully sent some tokens to myself on Cosmos. If you take a look at the balances of that destination, that's working, although validator set updates are still having problems.
Ta-da! And as Jameer as they sound, I think it's pretty neat to be able to watch that in action. And as this gets built out, we're doing another test net here in a week, and we'll be able to show some really other kind of cool functionality of the kind of more full functional network there.
Okay.
Oops, let's not watch that again.
I see some Oracle.
Okay, so Peggy consists of 4 components, an Ethereum contract called Peggy.Sol, the Peggy Cosmos module, which is run on the Cosmos side, of course, the eSigner and Oracle, which are run by the Cosmos validator alongside the Cosmos SDK, and then a separate market of relayers who compete to submit transactions to Ethereum on behalf of the Cosmos validators. And these folks can earn a fee for doing the work of relaying. Okay, so let's look at the first part of that, which is the Cosmos module. So this event occurs on Ethereum going from, so the Cosmos module does work whether you're having ETH to Cosmos or you're going from Cosmos to ETH. In the case that it is doing the work of ETH to Cosmos, it's going to, there's an event's going to occur on Ethereum. The validator's Oracle is going to submit a transaction about it. And once 2/3 have observed, the action is taken, like, for example, minting tokens. And then from Cosmos to ETH, any user is going to request a batch or a new validator set. Validators create the set and their ETH signers sign it, and then relayers submit the transactions to the Cosmos blockchain. To give kind of a high overview of kind of what this could look like from a user's perspective is, you have someone, let's say Sally. Sally's going to send $50 of DAI to Cosmos. She's going to send that to the Peggy contract. The DAI is going to get locked up, and then on the Cosmos side, the DAI gets minted. On the other side, and she'll send, she'll send some fee to pay for the gas there. And then on the other side, if she wants to send from Cosmos to Ethereum, she's going to send these new, let's call them CDAI tokens to Peggy with a fee. And that's only going to be about 35 cents. And then the Peggy module and the relay are going to assemble that batch and then send that over and sign that. So the relay is an interesting role, one in which we see run by the validators primarily at first, or anyone who's interested in having this be a functional system. But then as this ecosystem grows, you might have independent actors or Ethereum miners that want to earn that fee. So they're going to continually monitor the batches in the batch pool. And once that batch has signatures from at least 2/3 of the current val set, it can be submitted to Peggy.Sol. And then they can choose which batches they think are profitable enough to submit. And then unsubmitted batches will just have their transaction returned to the pool. So let's take a look at what we were saying with Sally, right? So under the hood is that the Peggy module makes a transaction batch that gets signed by all the validator e-signers, and that batch will cost about 78 cents plus 30 cents per transaction to submit. And let's say it has about 100 other transactions in that batch. Well, then the relayer submits the batch paying $30.78 in ETH for fees, but they are paid then that $35.78 in DAI out of the bridge. So some of that, which is part of this, the CDAI that Sally had locked up, for a total profit of $4.22. So that kind of hopefully makes a little bit of sense about what the relayer might hope to kind of earn. So a lot of that gas efficiency we just went through with the Sally example is due to transactions batches. And this is where I think a lot of the kind of creativity that design comes from, is this unique batched system. So transactions are going from Cosmos to Ethereum are put into batches before being sent to the Ethereum chain. This is because it's expensive to process all the transactions on Ethereum, and then batching sort of splits most of the costs up among all of the transactions in the batch, as in the example with Sally. Validators take a user request and they assemble and sign the batch to be sent to Peggy.sol. So that's the what. Where are we at with everything? As you just saw, we do have transactions successfully demonstrated via Ethereum and Cosmos in late October, early November. We have the Peggy.sol contract written and audited from Certic. And we're well into kind of finishing the Cosmos module and relayer with Stargate compatibility. And we are looking to do a new testnet next Friday. If anyone's interested in being a part of that or staying more up to date, we do have a Discord chat. We welcome you to join. Please also feel free to join our public stand-up. We're having one on Monday. Otherwise get involved. And then the sort of full functional complete will be in January with a demo day. And the only thing sort of missing there would be some of the slashing conditions for validators. So that's kind of still something we're thinking through and working through, and I think will come through in some of the test nets. And then once we sort of get that MVP underway, then we're looking at incentivized test nets, and then the sort of second iteration of Peggy, which is what we call Atoms on Uniswap, and that will be in February to March of 2021. So really exciting year coming up that we're looking forward to completing. Another sort of interesting thing that has happened is not only what we're building with Peggy, but also how we are building it. So when we started working on Peggy, we started solo. However, we recently collaborated with Occlusion and some of the other ecosystem partners to build out not only the functionality of Peggy, but to form a new entity, which we basically call Peggy JV, who will then be able to take this basic tooling and utilize it with new types of DeFi applications together with other ecosystem partners. And also that allows us to have a collaborative approach to supporting Peggy, improving it, adding in documentation, and then also supporting Peggy for the hub. As we said earlier, you do need a resilient and high value chain for the Peggy module. So we do expect that it would be good for the hub to run that. So we'll be looking to sort of support that integration over the coming year in 2021 as well. And if you want to sort of know more about what Peggy JV is up to and what we'll be doing and some of the exciting things that are coming for Cosmos DeFi, please join us at our demo day in January. And there will be also a lot of different ecosystem partners showcasing what they've been working on as well. So should be a pretty exciting day. So we've gone through a lot of what we're building and how we're building it, but I'd like to share a little bit about also why we're building it. Why did we build a Ethereum to Cosmos bridge? And we had a selfish use case in mind. Althea, for those of you that may not know, is a blockchain for telecom. We have a decentralized internet service provider approach where users, simply routers pay each other for bandwidth. This is kind of core of what we do. And so instead of like one entity owning all the pieces of a infrastructure of a network, many different people can own different pieces or earn revenue from that. And then Althea is the coordinating layer for that. So what we need for folks to be able to utilize this kind of coordination layer and to utilize all these crypto to pay for their bandwidth and microtransactions and peer-to-peer transactions, we need a couple of different things. We need an easy way to onboard folks from fiat to crypto. We need some sort of stable or currency or coin to do peer-to-peer microtransactions between routers and between entities. And we'd really like to be able to also offer these folks simple DeFi tools like collateralized lending. One of the surprising things that we found when we deploy these networks, and we have networks in about 5 states and Nigeria right now that are, running our networks, is that many people were underbanked or unbanked entirely, and were going to their corner stores to access simple things like debit cards or, money orders or sending money around, just kind of basic banking things. And then they had no access at all to things like collateralized lending or earning interest. So looking forward to what we can also do with the Peggy Bridge and Cosmos DeFi. This is a quick little look at how we are onboarding folks at the moment and the functionality that we hope to use Peggy for as well. So right now, people use Ethereum. They buy Ethereum on their routers. They have a router dashboard. They click Add Funds. It pops up an Ethereum buy app through Wire. They buy the app. It goes through a bridge to Uniswap, changes to DAI and XDAI, and then all of the transactions within the network are in XDAI. So we hope to use Peggy very similarly. So people will see a low balance notification. It's time to add funds. Go to the router dashboard, click Add Funds. They'll buy Ethereum, and then the router will send that Ethereum to be converted to DAI. And then from that DAI to the Peggy contract, the Peggy.sol will utilize the bridge and mint Althea DAI that then is utilized throughout the network. We can do this with cash too. Will just be directly to the Althea network, where people can utilize a very simple UX to send and receive. And this is kind of how we do this in in Nigeria right now. To give a broader overview of how this works and the vision, I'd like to share a little bit about what we do in general. So Althea is a multi-stakeholder platform decentralizing the ownership of the infrastructure of the system. So this means that instead of Comcast owning the fiber and the fixed wireless, and then maybe Verizon owning all of the LTE infrastructure of your network, or CenturyLink or something like that, a home or a business or a large enterprise or even other ISPs can all participate in this system and earn revenue for their share in forwarding the bandwidth. And what makes the magic happen is our pay for forward system and our price aware routing protocol, which allows folks to always get the best price in this bandwidth marketplace on a second by second basis. So in order to make this amazing magic happen, we need a blockchain that is made for these kinds of use cases. One where large telcos can participate, and one that is reliable and has faster transaction. We can utilize a stable coin, and then we can easily onboard folks from fiat. One of the reasons why we chose Cosmos as well is that we ultimately believe that interoperable platforms are more of the future of not only telco, but also being able to interoperate with different kinds of currencies and use cases in a seamless way. So that's kind of the basic overview of it. We do have a great public stand-up that happens on Monday, and that will be with Justin Kilpatrick, who's doing most of the development work on Peggy at the moment. And that's a great place to ask questions. We also have all of our previous stand-ups available on YouTube. I encourage you to go there, kind of get caught up on where we're at with development, what kind of looks like on a deeper technical dive. And then I have a few minutes for some questions. If I see a few here in the chat that I'm going to get caught up on. Oh, hey, and also too, Jahan is here. Jahan Chembek wrote the Peggy.soul module. He's great to ask any questions of as well. And he has the slashing conditions, which are being planned there, the GitHub. I would encourage folks, if you want to go there and check out a couple of things we're thinking about. Thank you for that, Jahan. And then someone said, this type of system works perfectly over a flat Earth. And I wanted to just sort of talk a little bit about that too, because one of the ways that this actually is better than your legacy telco models is legacy telco models, because they're so centralized, are very brittle. So with Althea, you have different participants who can, host a antenna on their roof, or you've got someone there in the valley or behind trees. And it actually does allow us to build in an efficient and cost-effective way in really challenging environments. And I definitely would encourage you to take a look at what we're doing in the middle of the desert. We just built an off-grid tower. And we were able to do that in a way that we can actually make ROI in a very low population, low ARPU environment with very minimal CapEx. It's one of the, many of the, especially rural and lower income urban environments, you don't want to go in there with a large CapEx, build $80,000 towers. That's never going to make sense or be sustainable. And Althea allows us to utilize the vertical assets and infrastructure that already exist within a community. And we've got about 5 more minutes. If anyone else has any questions or potential use cases or things to send you, ask a question on the tab on the left. I can also share for these last questions in the question queue. Do we have any telecoms on board? We do. We have some regional telcos that we have been working with. We're really excited to be working now in fiber and LTE for kind of the full stack integration. So we have a few regional ISPs that are on board, and we've had some conversations with larger telcos as well. Thanks, Asinju, appreciate that. What's the benefit of adding a Peggy module to the Cosmos chain versus connecting the Peggy chain via IBC? So the benefit of adding a Peggy module allows, well, that's an interesting question because, one, you need a robust chain. So if you're a smaller Cosmos chain, you may not want to take on this the risk and the security of securing whatever is going to be in the contract. You may just want to utilize IBC and then go to the hub or to another, Peggy-enabled Cosmos chain. And then Sinju asked, what would be the collateral in the case of bootstrapping network infrastructure? I'm not quite sure I understand the question, Benedict. Are you talking network infrastructure in terms of ISP or network infrastructure in terms of blockchain? From a network infrastructure perspective, if you think about like our user-owned fiber or the user-owned fixed wireless system, then that would be user-owned hardware. Oh, the question is around collateralized lending. So what ends up happening is these same folks that are unbanked, are going to their gas station or corner store to access lending or access like prepaid debit cards and these kinds of things. are actually the same ones that are putting like $200, $300, $400, $500 on their router. So that's something that they could lock up and potentially use to lend against with fiat is something that we've sort of thought about. Although I think that functionality is quite a bit of ways away. DeFi is still very new and experimental. So that's where we're excited about partnering with our partners at Peggy JV, who will be doing some of the more experimental stuff. So in this case, is the collateral my network hardware or future bandwidth? It's the money that you have on the router. It is it would be your $300, $400, $500 that is sitting in your account currently. So right now I have folks that have money in their routers with a few $100s. That isn't doing anything for them, right? It's same as money up under the mattress. You know, they're just putting it there. But it's not working for them the way that other folks' money in a bank is. And so what I really love to do is be able to empower folks who are putting that kind of money into their routers already to be able to do other things with it while it's sitting there. And then when they need to use it to, you know, buy bandwidth, it's there. Yeah, so that's one of the things that was kind of surprising about when we started rolling out networks. We started thinking about, wow, how can we make this money, you know, that's sitting in their routers work for them? Just to kind of go, since we have a couple of minutes and I'm not seeing another question, the way that we think about collateral in terms of like decentralized ISP infrastructure is that users will put in, you know, $200 for fixed wireless infrastructure, or you know, between $500 and $1,500 for fiber or LTE based infrastructure, and then they can utilize that actually to earn revenue for them as part of the network. Yes, thank you, Randy. It's really neat to be able to be, you know, this is actually my shop here. So we've got antennas where we get to get out and into the world and onboard users with blockchain and, you know, utilize that to have better, faster internet. And it really makes resilient communities. So it's pretty rad.
Awesome. This was a really great talk. So we're going to transition to our next session now.
Good job.
Thank you.